Okay. All right. So when Ron and I were talking about this session, we were brainstorming. There's IdeaStream and Safar and ideas and before you know it was Safari ideas. So that's the theme right here, Safari ideas. And so my wife has become a really wonderful wildlife photographer, and I tend to carry all her heavy lenses and backpacks. And kind of the Sherpa kind of person there, and and when she's doing like 2 hours on a leopard cub sitting in the Jeep, I sometimes take videos. So we're going to do is show a bunch of videos from safari trips for about 8 seconds. And we're going to sort of think about what are the animals trying to teach us? What's the lesson we learn for technology early stage companies that we can extract from the animal kingdom? I was trying to come up with a cool joke like it's a jungle out there, a jungle in here. Nothing came to mind. So you're going to help me with all that stuff. But the other cool thing about Safari theme is when we started the company, my partner here, Nader Motamedi, is right here, and he came up with the name Safar. And it's sort of got it derivation from a different part of the world, and it means sort of journey, adventure, which is very apropos for what we all go through in these early stage companies. And when we started Safar 7 years ago, he had a lot of relationships with Harvard. His wife went there, his children went there, his business was very active in the Harvard alumni community. I was active with my wife at MIT, and we said, let's put this together. It's like life sciences and clean tech and climate, sustainability. What a wonderful place to do this and help people. So that's what happened 7 years ago, and now here we're sitting today doing this presentation with you. So it's a pleasure to be here. So you ready to get started? So this is in Tanzania during migration, and we're sitting in one of these Jeeps here, and we'll just play this right now. And we took the sound out so we can all ask questions and chat to each other here. That's a lot of wildebeest. So what are we trying to say here? What are we trying to say? We're trying to say, what do you focus on when you're starting your company? What kind of products, what kind of customers to go after? There's so many things to go after. So many of you have platform technologies, and how do you pick? And so for us, the things that I learned over time, and many of us have learned over time, making so many mistakes, is you got to go to the people that will save money with your product. That's one real important thing. If you save them money, there's a compelling reason to go through the hassle factor to change. The other thing that we've really learned is, besides saving money, it has to be the least disruptive to their existing operation. You don't want to do a product that is step 6 of a 12-step process in the assembly line. You'll go nowhere. You want to be drop-in if it's a fuel. You want to be just a pure replacement. And if your stuff breaks, they can go back to the way they were doing it very easily operationally, because the people in the field really don't want to take the risk that your stuff doesn't work. So to me, it's about focusing on the right stack of mail. And the other thing you'll learn is, because there's so many other things you could do, get some other people for free to help you think about the future. There's a huge channel opportunity, indirect salespeople that you don't have to pay for. Let them figure out all the other stuff in years 4 through 20 for you. But just try to focus a little bit. All right, next. We only have 9 more to go, so we're pretty good. This is in Botswana, a leopard mom who, you don't see the cub, she's protecting her cub from some mean person. Here we go. And we don't have the sound on, but she's hissing like you can't believe. And we're only like 15 feet away. And so there we go. A scout hyena. And she just says, none of that action, and he runs away. And so what are we trying to say here? You with me? What do you think, David? What am I trying to say? I knew you were going to say that. Protect your clients and your employees. Even in your early days, you want to make sure they stick with you. Your best people, your good people, your hardworking people are always vulnerable. So make sure they've got the equity pieces we kind of know. Even if you can get your board and your investors to give you a little bit of cash for like 6-month target bonuses on hitting milestones, giving some extra cash out beyond this, do things that make them really feel that they're part owners. If they feel like they're part of the ownership, they're not going to take that interview call with a competitor. What you don't want to do is have them take those calls. And same with your customers. If you have even a short-term contract, try to extend it longer term. Try to give them a little extra discount before the existing contract runs out to hold them in and sort of Build that opportunity where you can create that quicksand for your customers that they can never extract themselves from. All right, number 3. Now this is actually a photo my wife took in Alaska. And we did one of these events where you're walking, in the national park, and through the high tide, low tides, we're on the beach, and the mama bear is teaching the cub how to go clamming. And so they're digging clams, they're eating clams. They're not eating salmon for like 3 or 4 months after hibernation, they come out of it. So they're doing all kinds of other things. They eat 20, 30 pounds of grass a day. They're like cows out there. And I didn't realize that before I went to Alaska. So what are we trying to teach here? Work with your mentors, just like she's mentoring that. Really be generous with them. And not so much compensation, which they all enjoy. They won't say no to that kind of stuff. But try to tailor your relationship with them on things that they're passionate about, that they really enjoy doing, that their family really cares about. If someone has an issue with Alzheimer's disease, they're going to probably, because of family history, they're probably going to be that much more motivated to make that extra phone call for you, make that extra introduction for you, because you can't ask them to do things like you would an employee. So just really be generous with your appreciation for your mentors and your advisors and your board members. Okay, this is fun. This is in Tanzania in the early morning, really beautiful. That's my wife. I didn't even think about pushing her out at all, really. And he just looked at us like, what are you doing in my place, right? So what are we trying to talk about here? They can get you pretty fast without you knowing about it. And just when you think you've got a competitor figured out, they buy a little company, they do a little, IP sort of purchase from somebody else. They learn a technique, they take one of those employees you didn't save, and all of a sudden you've got a competitor that you didn't realize it. And you have to think about it every day. And that's not even talking about the people that sort of pilfer your ideas in other countries. There's a whole nother world that you got to worry about. But you have to stay vigilant, because someone you thought wasn't a good competitor could turn right around and be a great competitor very quickly. Aha, here we are in Botswana. What are we doing here? He actually jumped. I was stunned that he jumped over the stream like that. But in any case, what are we trying to learn here? If you were your company's competitor, what would you do to leapfrog what you do? You know all the little things that you don't do well or you've got vulnerability. So plug those gaps, plug those holes. Build your IP moat a little bit stronger, because you know how your competition is going to react. We all think about that, but we don't think about it enough. We do it at the beginning, but not on an ongoing basis every month. You're really vigilant about it, because this is something that your competition is thinking about all the time. And the more successful you get, the more you got to be vigilant. I think you can see that. That's sort of nighttime, 3 elephants drinking out of a swimming pool, regular water. This is in Zimbabwe. And you see the person on the left-hand side. That's my son and daughter. We're just sitting in the pool, and they're just lounging while the elephants are drinking the water this close away from them. Kind of impressive. So you can imagine what we're going to come up with on this one. And everyone's just sort of calm, quiet. You eat your dinner, right? That's a dinner table right there. And they just take turns. Like 50 elephants come up during the evening, during the day, and just do their thing. Very cool. Beware of big, strategic, wonderful companies. They are the best. They are fantastic for early stage funding. They're fantastic for JDAs and early demos and all kinds of stuff. But the difficulty that the people have that are so excited to do things with you, for them to get it through their organization and their maze of things, to get you a real contract that pays real money with real margin, so you can leverage that to raise money from people like Safar and others. It's really, really hard. So you really want to use your network, your mentors, your advisors, your experience, and sort of fine-tune which are the right people for you to be connected with on this sort of strategic corporate side. Because if you're not careful, you'll burn half your staff for 3 years for 50 grand with an expectation of a $20 million a year take or pay, and you get bupkis. And what they'll tell you is they'll tell you, oh, we just changed business unit presidents, and we can't do it anymore. And that's true. And it's not their fault that big organizations are like that. And you can't get mad at them, but you just have to be aware. Pick the right targets. So here we go. We're not bad. 6, we're almost done. Pretty good. So this is in Botswana, the Okavango Delta. And you can see that there were wildfires in that particular, this is a helicopter ride. And it was incredible to be in the middle of the day with wildfires, dark skies, light skies, and then taking the helicopter ride over the water. And you still see elephants and birds, and they're all doing their thing, you know, in the foreground here. It was incredible. And so, and they're totally unaware of what's going on in the distance a couple kilometers away. So I think we just lived through in the last 4 weeks some pretty significant macro impacts on what decisions are being done by certain people. So I think when you have a chance to do something quickly, do it. Sometimes, you know, overthinking and overanalyzing like we do at MIT is not the right thing to do. If you have an opportunity to raise money, even a little bit less, you know, valuable or worse terms or something else, or go, 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 because in 3 days, it could be completely different and that person can't write the check. Same with customers, same with employees, same with everything. Just move, 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 get out of the foxhole, move before a mortar comes in. And so many people spend so much time trying to do the most perfect thing. It's in your nature, so slap yourself and don't do that. Just go fast. Now, this, I don't think you can guess what this is. This man knows what he's talking about. He knows his dung. This is two dung beetles. So there's the little dung beetle on the left. In the center, the big dung beetle just stole that ball of dung from the other dung beetle in Tanzania. So, and these guys are super strong. I mean, that's about the size of a softball, that piece of dung. It's wonderful. I mean, it's amazing. Why wouldn't you want to videotape that, right? So what are we talking about? Grab the best technical and junior sales talent that you can, because this guy ripped off that piece of dung that the other beetle liked. Go get the other piece of dung that you want. Now, not that technical people and salespeople are like dung, but I'm just saying they don't typically have non-competes. They're not paid as much, but they really know how the products work. They know the customers really well. The customers depend on them. They love them. And if they find out that this sales engineer went to this company, they're going to follow that sales engineer without having to make a phone call. Don't want them to take any confidential information. You don't need it. You just need the quality of the people, and customers will come, and you'll strengthen your own organization. And just like a Jenga block that you take out of a tower, you're going to weaken the competition when you take away their best people. So, wonderful thing to do. I always enjoyed that part of the job. Number 9, back to Alaska. So in Alaska, we were walking with 5-gallon pails, and we used them as stools. And there were 5 of us traveling with no weapons or anything. We just had a flare, a road flare, and a safety. And the bears, you know, they're eating their grass. They're coming to you within 8, 10 feet, and you're going like, this guy's 1,200 pounds. And he started maybe way back where the forest was, and made his way all the way to walk to us. And as long as you do the right thing, you don't get too crazy, they're very cool. So, and they're cows. They're just eating grass. It's amazing. They seem so gentle. But once in a while, he looked up at us. And I could just tell he was going, am I going to do something with you? But it's a beautiful national park in Katmai. So always, always be nice to the big players, the regulators, the other NGOs, the foundations, the bigger companies we just talked about, your government relationships. Many of those people change jobs, go different places. And even if you're in a meeting with a group of them and one person from the organization, just like in any meeting, gets a little ornery or mean-spirited or does some, it doesn't mean all the other people or even that person won't help you at a future meeting or when they change jobs or they can introduce you to a friend. It always pays to be nice. It really does. And so just, I know sometimes it gets frustrating, especially when people are mean-spirited sometimes on their side, but just always be nice because I'm never surprised how it comes back positively if you can maintain that sort of composure and relationship and softness with people. And the last one, this is in South Africa. And you got to have the lion cubs at the end, right? Come on. And they love to play. And I could watch these guys all day. They're hysterical. So have fun with your family. Don't forget. I mean, when I think about the things that you can do to make your culture family-friendly and still effective, many of you in this room do it. I know it for a fact how you guys do it. But it's really important because people will spend evenings and weekends to try to help the company and help the organization if they feel you really appreciate them. When we were doing that one company in telecom, in 24 months, we went from 1 person to 1,200 employees. And you can't do that unless your people are really taking extra time away from home. So one of the benefits was we did a $500 savings bond, US savings bond, for everyone who had a child. So I'm sitting there and I write the cards out to every person. So about like 20 or 30 every quarter, we're doing that. And so one year I'm writing it and I go, what? I remember this name because I'd written 2 savings bonds 15 months ago for the same name. So a lady out of Buffalo office for us. And she had 3 kids under 7, then a set of twins, then another set of twins. And I'm like, $2,000. But I'm just saying, who wants to have 2 sets of twins within 15 months of each other? That person is a good employee. She's very motivated to do things. But again, when you think about it, all the hours and time that we put into things, I mean, my partner's he's crazy on workaholic, but he's really good with his family. And you should really try to do that. An extra day a week away from home, even in these first 5-10 years, isn't going to make a difference to your evaluation. But that extra day with your family, really important. And it doesn't count, as my wife taught me, if you're there at 9 o'clock. You have to be there at 5 o'clock, and then that evening counts. That's the way it works for dinner time. Thank you very much.